Someone's also asking, all hail King Julian is asked, can you load into the Dormizone from the game start? So there are two ways that you can load into, this is of course after you've completed the quest. So you can either access it from within the Zariman itself. There will also be a star chart node that you can just load directly into your Dormizone as well. So that if you don't feel like traversing through the Zariman, you can just load directly into it.
That is correct.
Go straight to your apartment.
Oh, can we necromit on the Zariman nodes? I've actually not tried that.
No, you can't.
You can't?
No.
Well, there you go. You can't.
All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. So today we're going to have a little bit of a discussion video. Up here, you can see I have some footage from the new Dormizones that we're going to be getting in the update at the end of the month. Post the Angels of the Zaramon quest, we are going to have a new kind of living quarters. And we have some confirmation on how that's going to play out that I want to talk about. And I want to talk about why I kind of disagree or am like a little disappointed in how that's going to actually be implemented in the game, as I think there's a lot of opportunity for this new living quarters style area. For that, the confirmation is from a recent community stream that they had. Basically, we know that whenever this launches, we are not going to have the ability to log in here. You're not going to be able to log in and then like show up here as opposed to being in your orbiter or the drifter camp like how you can now. Obviously, the drifter camp and the orbiter, not very dissimilar. They have a lot of incredibly significant similarities. And we did just get the drifter camp at the end of the new war. You have the opportunity to have that as your login area. Like I said, though, they're not very dissimilar. And I think that this is a really potentially huge opportunity for DE to give players the ability to kind of feel a big progression. And also for newer players, perhaps looking at the game, like outside looking in at like where they are, if they just like finish their tutorial or whatever, and then looking at, a stream or what have you, just gameplay video of a more advanced player. I think there can be an opportunity to show like a huge difference if we get the ability to log in and show up in the Dormizone and then just have the basic functionality of a foundry, an arsenal, and a navigation in the Dormizones, because I think that that's going to be the vast majority of what's necessary for regular day-to-day play for a regular player. And I think given that, it would really much more incentivize the Dormizones as like a primary area. And especially if the story is going to necessitate the Dormizones as a primary area going forward, I think that could further invest players, because obviously I think personally my speculation is that this area is going to be used as a focal area for story and characters to show up and do things in terms of quests, because in a lot of cases it does not make really any sense for most characters to show up on your orbiter. Showing up on your orbiter is like a very weird space for characters to be, and it only really makes sense for basically the drifter, stalker, and only sort of the Lotus. So with all that stuff, having kind of a neutral area, a zone where there are already a lot of NPCs, and you could ostensibly have any given character show up here and talk to you and give you a quest and like move the story forward, makes a lot of sense in my mind. So I think that this area being confirmed to not be a primary login location is really going to make it feel super secondary. And it's I think going to feel super secondary in terms of the like wanting to like decorate it and make it your own. And also in terms of once we get past this point, right? Like once we're like deeper in, once we're on the next content drop, how are we going to remember the Dormizones? Like, is it going to be something that people are actually going to go and visit? Or is it going to be something that's just there? I don't think people in general are hanging out in the Plains of Eidolon or hanging out in like Fortuna, like, or at least not en masse. Outside of, Fortuna 69 and such. And I think part of that could honestly be solved by those areas having basic functionalities and the ability to spawn in there if a player wants to. And in those areas, it doesn't really make sense for you to spawn in there and like have that be like your home, because there's no housing in those zones. But because there is housing in this zone, I think that it is an opportunity you have a kind of a big change of pace for like what players are used to logging into Warframe. And I think it would be really interesting to at least try out, and obviously not having it be a necessity where you must log into the Dormizones is needed, because some people just are going to like their Orbiter, but having it as an option with that really base functionality, I think would be super interesting to see like how many people would choose to permanently stay in the Dormizones and only head to their ship when they need to, like, you know, element on an ability or do some other thing, versus how many people would choose to stay on their Orbiter full time, like what the difference is between like those two subsets. Because for me personally, I'm very unlikely to use the Dormizones because I'm going to see it very, very little. Whereas I would be much more likely to use it if I could make it my permanent area, because then I'm going to be there all the time. And it does look like a nice large space, as you can see here, that is rife for decorating and doing all kinds of other customization too. But without, like, you know, the commonness of being there, it's more likely I'm going to do what I always do, which is log in, I'm on my Orbiter, I'm going to change the things in my arsenal I need to change, and then I'm going to go to navigation and do a mission. And then I'm going to head down to an open world whenever I need to turn rep and stuff in, or, you know, run bounties or whatever it is. And then beyond that, not really be in those spaces full time like I am in my Orbiter. But yeah, it's just a choice I think that should be considered by DE, although it probably already has been, at least to some degree, especially since the first dev stream where they were showing this off. But yeah, I'm curious what you guys think about like the Dormizones being confirmed not to be like spawn in locations, and if you're going to like use it. Like, are you going to go here and just like hang out? Even though, you know, we don't know what, if any, functionality is going to be here. Or is it, you know, kind of what it honestly seems like it might be for me is a little bit DOA, just because of it not, you know, seeming to have those functions and also not being a common area I'll end up in. But yeah, that's what's up. I just wanted to like throw it out here and just talk about it a little bit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you on stream, probably streaming. If this video is up, I'm probably streaming. Come hang out. What's up?